Welcome to the Write Good Books podcast, the audio companion to WriteGoodBooks.com, with your host Jason Bougger.
We are back for another episode. I'm Jason, here with co-host Scott Michael Childers. Hey there, Scott.
Hi there.
How you doing?
Apparently so good. I picked up some weird accent there for the intro.
Awesome. I know what that's like. I hear it every week. I joke every other week.
You have kids. You have kids. You hear strange noises all the time.
That's true. They're pretty good at that. So this week, let's take a look at our writing rituals. Specifically, are they important and can they get in the way of your writing? Do you have a writing ritual?
Yes, actually. And to tell you the truth, we discussed this in a previous podcast. Because of my work schedule, I don't have scheduling writing time. I use a priority type of thing. When I have the free time, my priority is get my writing in. And so for me, it is that ritual, that constant stream of activities that helps get my mind ready for I'm writing now. So for me, it is get my beverage, usually water. Sometimes if I'm really feeling physically down, I'll grab something with caffeine or not. Grab the beverage, go to the computer, shut down all the windows, except for if I have a research part, since I'm doing historical fiction or non-fiction in history, get my research up off on one side, open up Scrivener, which is my writing tool of choice, get my music going. I have a preset playlist of stuff that I can listen to that I won't get engrossed in, right? It comes in, it gives me that noise to block out traffic or the cats or, my wife watching TV or whatever. But it's not something I'm going to sit there and bounce around to and say, yeah, this is my jam. Does anyone say that anymore? Apparently I still do. But yeah, so I get my music going. That helps me block out the world. I have my beverage. I got Scrivener. Then I open that up. I review some of where I left off. Especially when I'm writing my fiction. Where did I leave off? Did I leave any notes for myself? And then I'm in this process. My body has received enough clues for me to go. And that's really important to me. Like I said, I don't have a set time, which helps a lot of people. Because of my job, I can't do that, but I can set up, these are the steps I follow. So that's mine. What about you, Jason?
I have a pretty strict ritual I have to do, and I guess the first thing I do is I look at how much time I have to spend, because that often will determine what I work on. Mm-hmm. If I know I only have 30 minutes, it'll be more my business of writing type of things. I'll think of absence or whatnot. But if I know I'm actually going to write fiction, which if I have at least an hour, I don't like to work on a short story or novel revisions if I don't have a full hour or more to do it. But I'll pick out the music, and that's really important to me because what I'm working on goes so much in tune with what I'm listening to. It's crazy, but it is. I have certain bands. If I write science fiction, I have to listen to these bands.
Yeah.
If I write fantasy, I have to listen to this type of instrumental. Just whatever that is. But so I pick up my music, and then I have this crazy thing where I have to have certain windows open in a certain order that we don't need to get into. And then that's it. If it's at night, I'll usually pour a glass of, it'll usually be scotch, but sometimes it might be Windsor on the rocks, to show that I'm classy.
That has no meaning to me whatsoever. So hopefully our audience got a much clearer insight into our host here.
Jason's psyche here. But if it's during the day, if it's before 12 o'clock, it'll be coffee.
Oh, it's not straight up vodka?
No, not to that point yet. Stress on that yet. I still have the day job. But I pour my drink, and then I just put on the headphones, dim the lights. That's important, too.
Okay.
If I'm writing fiction, I have to have really dim light if it's at night. I feel so much more creative that way. I don't know why that is.
Okay. If
I'm writing horror, it even gets me a little jumpy.
Oh, yeah.
So you gotta get in that frame of mind. But that's my ritual. I have to get the scenery the right way, I guess. So I wanted to say, do these rituals get in your way? And in my case, they do in a major way. I get really OCD about some stuff. If there's something on the table, I have trouble writing until I get that thing off the table. If I'm not listening to the right music, that bothers me. If I go to the coffee shop and their music's too loud to where I can't hear mine under my headphones, under theirs, that disrupts my writing. So a lot of this ritual does get in my way. What about you?
For me, not as much like that. I can tell you that it's harder for me to start if I'm not doing some of these steps. And that's why, I have these certain things I need to do, because those are my, psychological, psychosomatic clues to get me in this. We're writing now.
Oh, to interrupt you on that also includes, check Facebook once, check email once, check Twitter once, and then get them out of the way. If I don't do that, I'm sitting there writing thinking, well, I haven't checked Facebook in an hour, or what if I missed something? So part of my preparation ritual is to get that stuff out of the way as well.
See, that's the benefit of being a curmudgeon like me. I haven't checked Twitter in days. But yeah, I can see where it gets into an issue. And there are other facets of life that people have these rituals. Sports figures are sometimes most well known. If you're watching sports, someone will say, and he had his lucky pair or his lucky T-shirt underneath his jersey from when he was in youth league, or it's all ratted. But no, those human interest things. Some call it superstitions, but sometimes it's just a ritual. So that way it reminds their body and mind it's game day. But yeah, it's sometimes seen as crutches.
Yeah.
Especially if someone doesn't do what we do. They say, well, why do you got to go through all this prep work? You just sit down and write, right? Yeah. And here's the thing, though. It's not just us. Lots of other people have done it. In fact, I didn't get a chance to read this book, but what's his name here? Mason Curry wrote a book, Daily Rituals, How Artists Work. Looks at 161 minds of novels, composers, painters, etc. No, it's not paid placement. I just happened to find it. So if any of you read it, tell me if it's worth reading. I'm too busy with my rituals to actually read it at this point. Just kidding.
Being busy with your rituals, though, that brings up a point. When I was first starting to write, sometimes it would take me an hour to get started. I'd be going through all my whatever, try to get yourself prepared and figure out how to get in the right writing environment and condition your brain, or not condition your brain, but more just get your brain ready to focus on that, cleanse it from the outside world and focus on your made-up world.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Jason, but mine didn't just, I'm going to create a writing ritual. It just kind of happened.
Yeah.
And I've fallen into it. And at this point, I don't know if I want to mess with it.
Right.
So I don't know about, did yours just kind of happen over the years as you've been writing?
Yeah, mine was the result of stall tactics.
Oh, okay.
But they ended up being the right stall tactics.
It backfired, and now it gets you into...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, what were some of the...
some other authors,
Sure.
Some famous authors. Let's see what I have found here. And of course, my list is... some of them, they have to write sitting or lying down. Truman Capote has been quoted as saying, he's a horizontal writer. If he's not lying down, he can't write.
Wow.
And then there's others they have to stand up. They have to do a standing desk. Oftentimes they'll say, they'll get up at early morning, do their writing. Stephen King had said, his writing thing, he's done by noon or something like that.
Yeah, get up early as you can, meet your word count, and then you've got all afternoon to edit or whatever.
Yeah. And so if you go through, if you have a favorite author, I'm sure you can put in their name and find their writing ritual or how they set up for writing. But if you're just starting, let it come to you organically. Try different things. Try writing in the morning. Try writing in the afternoon. Try writing standing up. Try writing lying down. Try it with scotch. Try it without scotch.
Coffee's good too.
Yeah.
When you sit down and see that blank screen and get intimidated and have trouble starting, look for what gets you in the mood to be creative. Do you feel really creative when you hear certain types of music? I used to get inspired by hearing, this is going to sound silly, but I used to get really inspired to write when I'd hear top 40 music, because I'm like, these people are putting out a product that's making them a lot of money, and they're being creative, and that made me feel creative, as silly as that may seem.
Yeah.
So just find what makes you creative. Being around other creative people, listening to creative writing podcasts, reading, whatever gets you in the mood to go.
Yeah. And for some of you, it may be the exact opposite. It's silence.
Yeah.
It's like the brain doesn't kick in until there's no other distractions. I think it was Dickens I saw would close all the curtains right by candlelight and just be locked in his room. And for some, the distraction is clothing. Hugo, who wrote Les Miserables, noted as writing in the nude. We don't need to know that about you guys, really. But don't try to imitate someone else's ritual. There are some things that a lot of people say, exercise.
Oh, yeah.
Some will say exercise right before you write. Some will say just make sure you do it as part of the day. Keep your body up.
Kevin Anderson said he writes, I forget if he said in his head or if he records it while he mountain climbs in Colorado.
Yeah.
So that works. I've heard, I can't think of who it was now, but they said they'll start a writing session by daydreaming.
Mm-hmm.
Just shut off the sound and daydream for a half hour and see where your mind takes you and write it down.
Yeah. And here's another thing. You may do a certain type of writing, a certain type of writing task to begin with. Then you do something else, and then you do another thing. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, you start the day reviewing what you've written. Take a walk, come back, write new stuff. Because you've got that review of what you've done, you do some walking, your brain thinks about it, then you write. I can't remember who said they did that at this point. But again, it's trying things. And listening to your body. You know, if you're trying to write, this is for me, when I'm writing something that people are going to be talking about, you know, it's going to be dialogue. I can't do that sitting down as well as I can standing up. So if I'm running a dialogue heavy part, I'm standing up. I'm not going to, as far as, was it Aaron Sorkin? He kind of acts it out when he's doing his dialogue for TV shows. There's a story in there how he got himself a bloody nose because he was acting out while he was writing.
Was he punching himself?
No, I think he headbutted a mirror.
Oh, well, that's just as good.
Anyway, so Jason, what do you got about finding those rituals?
Just trial and error. I'll tell you some stuff I've tried that hasn't worked. I've been in creative writing classes in college where they didn't even give us the option. They said, okay, we're going to write now, so let's just free write for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And you just have to write without picking up your pen. Back then we used to use pens in college courses.
What are these pens?
We didn't have these computer things we took to all of our classes. And so we'd have to sit there and write, and that was the most counterproductive experience I've ever done. And that semester, every class, that was how we had to start the semester, with 10 minutes of free write. You could not get yourself in the mood knowing somebody right next to you is going through the same torture as you. It was just the worst, I think, advice I've ever heard on how to set yourself to write.
Well, for you.
For me, yeah. I might have worked for other people in the class.
Yeah.
You never know. I doubt it.
Yeah. You're a writer. You're supposed to be creative about things, so be creative about how you...
Yeah. Yeah, some people doodle.
Yeah. And I think for some people, it's not, I'm going to try this and then try writing. It's, I'm doing this and I'm feeling the thoughts come to my head.
Yes. You're trying to trigger that creative emotion.
Right.
Find whatever triggers it.
Right. And like for some people, it's showers. That causes some people to sing, right? Because they're in the shower, they're feeling good, they'll sing, they think it, whatever it is.
I've been told to no longer sing in the shower, but I do come up with good ideas in the shower. And a lot of times, if I shower before bed, all of a sudden I get all these good ideas in my head. It's like, oh no, I have to go write this stuff down, or I'm gonna forget it. Same thing with when I'm falling asleep too. It's probably a good idea. This is off topic, but it is a good idea to keep a notebook by your bed, so when you have a good dream, get up and write it down so you can turn it into a story.
Oh yeah, and a lot of people say, I'll remember it.
No,
I don't know how many mornings I woke up and go, I had the best idea, and it's gone. And of course, it would be my bestseller, my magnum opus. It'd be, but no, I didn't seize that opportunity. So, yeah, I would like to hear actually, from our audience if they have anything. They could probably hit us up at the website. Comment on this episode.
Yep. Comment on this episode. Always welcome to leave comments.
Yeah, and I promise I will not judge your writing ritual, because otherwise I open up mine for judgment. I don't need that. It's my ritual. Your ritual is yours. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, unless it involves some sort of crime.
Right, and then we just look the other way.
And in that case, we call your local police. So if it's a crime, don't bother. I'm just saying. That's common sense.
Sure.
That one's going on the cutting room floor again, too. We have a ritual for starting this podcast, but apparently we don't have one for ending.
That is very true. That's that is so true. Because we're a little over time, but not too bad. But thanks for listening, and definitely share your rituals on the comments board and visit us on the web at www.writegoodbooks.com/podcast. And see you next time.
See ya.